You know, I want you to know that every single time that Clem enters chat, um, I like yell at him, like that one audio of like the person being like, "Hi, how are you? Good morning today," and then like the other person responding, "I am in love with you," like at full volume, and like this person just like staring in horror. Um, that's what happens when I spot like Clem in chat. I go, "I am in love with you," and then Clem just like awkwardly waves his hand, and it's just like, "Hi, V." I'm just like, it is 10 a.m. right now, V. It's not 10 a.m., is it though? It's like 4 a.m. What are you doing? Okay, wait. Let me quickly. I'm not. I actually hit to go live. I hope you're aware. I didn't mean to go live yet. I was still getting everything under control, and then I hit the go live button, and then the notification sent out. And I was like, I can't just like not continue with a bit and just like decide to stream anyway. But I'm still doing like the beginning of stream stuff right now. Like I'm still doing the pre-stream. It is 1:12 p.m. Still set. Are you like okay? I have this classical painting next to me. Ignore the username under. I just like really like classical painting. I just really like classical painting. Ignore the fact that the person has not spoken yet because I haven't indefinite because I'm still doing stuff to get ready for stream because I accidentally hit the go live button. I'm a that. I know what every day I wake up and I'm like, it's time to be normal. And then I'm like totally normal. And then I like wake up in the morning and I'm like normal. And then I go to bed at night and I'm like normal. And then I like, you know, I like spend my day in like this permanent state of like nausea and like not sure whether or not I'm alive. And I'm like normal. Because that's what like normal people do. Oh my god, I love streaming. Sorry, give me a second. I'm like still trying to figure out how like everything works. I'm like, oh, eh. I'm like trying to like discover everything right now. I'm like dealing with it. I know what I'm doing. I really hope Chrome isn't going. I'm gonna be doing homework. Please don't name my name or activate mods to activate my sleep rage in a minute. If somebody says something in chat, I'll be like, mods, block their shit, and like my 5 mods active right now would just pull out a Glock and shoot them. You being normal would be a sign of the apocalypse. You have known me since I was 12 years of age. You know damn well there was a time in my life where I was like vaguely close to normal, and then I discovered I was gay. I was one of them queer. I was one of them LGBT. Let me quickly actually move my feet. Like that's not its normal. There's its normal version. Hello. We all converge on the target. That's what I'm saying. Ow, fuck. My bone just broke. Chat, chat. I have a very special guest for you all today. I'm so sorry for people who mainly watch my show to these streams, by the way. This is how I am normally. This is just a normal stream. This is like how I act 24 fucking 7. Also, I'm planning a stream tomorrow. It's gonna be a fundraising, like it's gonna be a stream advertising the Showtime for Palestine fundraiser. I'm just gonna say this out right now. I haven't announced it yet because I'm nervous because I don't know what to say. And it sucks because it's not the time to be nervous right now. And I'm just like, I don't know what to like add to the tweet. Like, oh hey guys, going live with people for Gardic Phone, and also later on I'm gonna go live with people for fundraising for like Jack. We're gonna do Jackbox, and then you know how do you say it? We're gonna do fundraising. Fuck, it's cool as fuck. I have to figure out everyone for tomorrow, but it's fine. I can get like people. Hopefully, I can get my okay. My issue isn't getting people. My issue is getting people who are funny and also won't get me canceled. That's my line here, right? Where it's like I can't go live with people who are gonna make 9/11 jokes all the time, mainly because I don't think 9/11 jokes are funny, and also because I don't want to like get shot in the head by Twitch, you know. So that's my internal battle. Hi, Furious Nighttail. It's been so long. What's up? Hi. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Anyway, time for serious. I'm gonna undeafen to speak to my very serious associate for tonight's stream. Hello, serious associate Beetle.
Where am I?
Welcome to the stream, Beetle. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh God. Hi, I am sick as fuck. Where the fuck am I? Where have you taken me?
I hope you get sicker. Keep on coughing, man. Keep on coughing. Eventually your lungs will give out.
I was supposed to be home. I was supposed to be asleep. Hello, everybody. Hi.
Oh wait, sorry. I'm such like a fan. I'm like a fan. I'm sorry. I'm like a huge
Hello,
fan.
everybody. My brother just started playing Fallout New Vegas. I got the Twitch notification.
That's like that's what press. There's an H Bomber Guy video about this. It says guy who likes H Bomber Guy.
And I watched it, and it was good as hell. It was really good. Thank you for recommending that to me. It was great. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rena. Hi, Pigeons.
Where every single time they mention something that's an H Bomber Guy video, I go, there's an H Bomber Guy video about this.
Video for this. Hi, everyone. I think I've been on a stream before. I don't know how this works. I'm a grandpa. Hi, everyone. My name is Beetle. I'm the gay guy that lives in V's computer. I don't know what I'm doing here. V literally messaged me and said 8 p.m. CST we're going live, and I'm like, okay. Sure. Why not?
I grabbed.
We don't have one before. Yeah. No, wasn't that the one where I talked about the Hot Wheels lore?
Yes. We talked about the Hot Wheels lore, where I found a Hot Wheels Battle Force 5. The fact that my cousin messaged me back immediately, knowing damn well what I was talking about, is more of a testament to his sanity. Just like for the record.
Fucking telepathic communication.
This is what happens when two gay motherfuckers have to talk to each other. They talk about Hot Wheels Battle Force 5. And he said, listen,
gosh.
I am nothing if not a huge fan of Justice for Pigeons. Every single time, it happens once in a blue moon, right? I don't mean that as a critique. I mean that as a thing, right? Because I don't think I can handle it if it wasn't. But once in a blue moon, Justice for Pigeons will update the Showtime SMP one-shots fanfiction on AO3.com. And I will read it. And I will sit back and I go, I fucking love this community. I fucking love being a content creator. The only reason I'm still a streamer is for 3 people. Number 1, Specs and Ad Battery. Number 2, Justice for Pigeons. And number 3, my goat, Beetle Gaming. Number 4 is Ender Teeth, just for the record. Ender Teeth is still in top 5. I made a list in Beetle's DM. I made a list in Beetle's and Boba's DM. And I went, every single time I see this list of people, I know it's gonna be a damn good lore stream. The list was Justice for Pigeons. How do you say it? Bex. How do you say it? Beetle, Siva, Enderteague, and Cecilia Lily. I don't even know who the fuck Cecilia Lily is, but every single time I have seen them in my chat, my acting skills skyrocket. And I'm like, damn. Cecilia Lily is the ghost actor.
Fucking Bardic inspiration die. Oh god. Just don't worry, Beetle. None of us know what we're doing. I have double no idea what I'm doing here. I am on the opposite. I am not a content creator, as the kids say. I have a Twitter account, and it was made against my will.
Long time friend of the channel, Video Gaming.
Obi and I close. No worries.
Cecilia. They're broken, so they disconnect every now and then. So I apologize if the stream gets up. Let me just double check everything. Okay. They quickly I think I fucked up. What did I do?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Oh, I know what's happening. Okay, wait, I can fix it. I can fix this, says the man.
You can fix this. I believe in you.
Your mic is quiet? Yeah, I know. I fucked something up by accident. I accidentally disconnected my headphones, so now my audio is weird. Hello?
For the love
Hello?
of God!
For the love of God, hello! Okay, okay, good. Audio's back. Audio's back. Audio's back.
We're so
Good.
back. We're so back.
We're so back. How do you say it? Okay. Let me go back to my point before my headphones conveniently disconnected, right? Listen, Cecilia. Can I call you Cecilia? Can I call you Cecilia? I hope you can understand for a second. I respond this to everyone who has ever told me I am living in your walls. You and every other bitch in this country, right? Because I wake up in the morning and there's bats in my room. I go to the bathroom in the morning, there's a banana spider just chilling in my shower, and I'm just like, I can't shower right now, and I have to grab.
Can't shower.
I grab it with my bare hands and I throw it outside, right? I have a really bad habit of grabbing wild animals with my bare hands, and that's how I got a snake bite, and I was just in misery and pain for conscious like 1.9 stream the entire fucking time. And everyone was like, we gotta speedrun V's Lorbit and get him the fuck out because I needed to sleep because I was getting feverish with the snake bite. And you have to understand, right? My house is built out of three materials, and I want you to write these down. This is a quiz. I'll be quizzing you on this later. It is made out of, how do you say it? Oh god, there's a specific name in this English. There's a specific name in English for this. Oh. Right, fine. I think it's agave. I think it's not agave. It's a specific kind of building ecological material. It's like, okay, I swear I know what it is. It's like concrete, but it's like clay. I don't know what it's called. It's concrete, but it's clay. I don't know what it's called. You're gonna have to trust me on this. But it's made out of that. It's not cement. It's a specific name. It's a specific type of concrete that is like clay, in which it is used like clay, right? Tofu thing I saw on YouTube Shorts. That. Let's go with that. Let's just call it. My house is made out of tofu, cement, and wood, right? How do you say it? That is all my house is made out of. My walls are pure cement walls. The only reason I'm screaming this way and screaming this loud is because there is pure noise filtration going on here. And the only thing that is separating me from the outside world right now is glass windows and iron bars in front of my glass window. I am being contained in this cell. I'm being contained in this cell that I call my bedroom. Because the world is not ready for me. Unironically, I'll post a picture on it later on Twitter if you guys don't believe me. But unironically, there are iron bars right outside my window. And you said, so I am literally being contained right now for all of your. So you saying you live in my walls, I'm not concerned for me. I would be concerned for you, and not because of me, because I'm the least of your worries. I'm talking about the bats in my roof, the geckos in my roof, the snake that crawled into my bedroom the other day, the Halloween crab infestation I have, the firefly infestation I have, and yes, in real life, I do have an actual firefly infestation in my bedroom. And how do you say? I have so much shit in my house. It's a jungle in here. It's a jungle out here. I love living in the tropics. I would not recommend this. The snake, that's my bestie. Insane, by the way. It's dead. So my bad, chat.
No! Rest in peace, soldier. You can't see it, but I'm saluting.
Oh, it deserved it. It's not dead. I just threw it outside. It's fending for itself out there. It's probably alive. It bit me though. So I'm not a huge fan of it.
Be free.
I would not last a day there. Chat. If you have arachnophobia, look away. Right. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, music thing. But I want. Okay, I'm not gonna show it on screen, but I want you to look up banana spider, and the one with the white head and the yellow ass. That's the one that lives where I live.
Yo, that's why it's called the banana. Oh, damn. Okay.
So
Okay, you weren't wrong. The white head and the yellow ass.
yeah, the one with the white head and the yellow ass. You want to know how large those motherfuckers are? Those guys are the size of an adult human hand. So when I open up my shower and I go, oh, what a wondrous day it is! I am so glad I get to be cleansed this good night. And I see that motherfucker hitting the jive on my wall. Just like whipping a nay and breaking it down on my wall. You can
Look at that
imagine.
cat voice. I just simultaneously whipped in Nene.
I just simultaneously whipped a nay on my wall. You can imagine the fact that I may not want to shower at that exact moment. And the fact that I have to grab my bare hand and throw it outside or else I'm not being cleansed. And there's the thing about me, chat. I am nauseously hygienic. If I am not showering twice a day and washing my hair and doing my skincare routine and wiping my hands down with like what's it called in English? The alcohol thingy. Help me out here. Hand sanitizer. If I'm not wiping my hands down with hand sanitizer every 5 fucking seconds, I'm fed up with the world, right? So
I was about to be so fucking obtuse and be like, rubbing alcohol?
no, that works too. I just said
Me cleaning my fucking hands with rubbing alcohol.
I want you to understand, chat. My dedication to showering has made me grab a glass, like hoister down a Black Widow, put a paper underneath, and throw it outside. And I didn't even care to check whether or not it was actually outside at that point. The house is not the spiders. The house is mine. I didn't colonize this land. I come from this land, and I will keep it as my own. And I'm taking that damn shower.
Hand sanitizer isn't enough. I need sandpaper.
The other day, I was like looking outside, and there was like
Oh
5
my
blue
God.
jays on my window, and they were all like slamming their heads against it to try to get inside. And like, I just like silently opened the window, and the normal thing would be to shoot them off. Like, you know, like a normal person would be like, shoot, go away, right? I didn't do that though, because I wanted to be funny. I grabbed one of them with my bare hand. I turned to the other. It was like flapping wildly too. It wasn't like just chilling in my hand. No, it was like trying to get out, obviously. And the other 4 like stood there, and I felt I know birds don't really feel emotions, but I think they felt fear for the first time. And I looked them dead in the eye, and I went, I will eat this bird right now if you motherfuckers don't stop knocking on my windows every fucking day at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I threw it out into the I threw it out, right? And I haven't been bothered since. So what I'm thinking is that if God descends down onto Earth, I could probably take him. And I know a lot of people say that, but I can say that with full confidence, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm saying here, right? I have met, like, so many creatures and looked them dead in the eyes, and I have felt no fear. The other day, at my school, there was starting to be, like, a locust infestation, right? And, like, I really don't care. Usually they just, like, hop on you and, like, it hurts, because obviously, they have, like, spiky things on their feet. But, like, you can just toss them off you, and they just don't, like, right? But they had chewed through one of my, like, documents that I was supposed to turn in that day. It was literally like my dog ate my homework, but it's the fucking locust infestation, right? So I decided to send a message. Which is never a good thing because I was pissed off. And I was kinda done with the locust. So what I did is that I grabbed one of the locusts. And Chad, we're starting to see a trend, right? Where I just grab things with my bare hands with no regard for my own safety. And that's probably a sign for something, but my therapist can tell me about that later. I don't need you to tell me about that. But like, I grabbed the locust, and I put it in a container I had brought for my food. And it's a large container. Like, the locust can breathe. I have a little hole in it. Like, it's not like I'm killing locusts, right? I put the locust, right outside, but it's dangling over the balcony. So I'm on the second floor. My classroom's on the second floor, right? The locust can fly. It'll be fine, right? And the knot is tied well. One thing about me is I know how to tie a knot damn well. I could be a Boy Scout if I want. But like, I tie up a knot. I hang the locust over the balcony. Like
Shocked face.
I hand the locust over the balcony, right? And I just kind of like let him there. And it got to the point where every single time a locust would get near the classroom, they would see that. Like, just for the next hour. I didn't leave him there. But they would see that. And then they would just fly away. So, in my heart of hearts, I know that I just traumatized a locust plague to leave. God could send the 10 plagues upon me, and I would just, like, deal with it. I would just thug that shit out.
Bro, you crucified his ass.
God would be like, the water turns into blood. And I'm just like, anyways, and I make iced tea with the blood, like, the fuck? I didn't get to teach how to distill water in the 9th grade for no reason. The fuck?
At least it's a more noble cause than my friend Scoob setting fire to stink bugs for fun.
What the
fuck? That's just a thing that he does in his pet. I don't know. Average fucking white guy from Wisconsin activity.
Like
I don't fucking. It's a fucking blood baking.
You know what I did? You know what I did sometimes? Since you're like my captive audience here, I say like holding a gun at you.
My god.
One time, right? I was. How do I say this? I was having a bit of a health, right? And I threw up a handful of blood, like a full handful of blood, right? And I had it in my hand, and I wasn't thinking straight. I'm not thinking straight usually. I should clarify, because I am, in fact, a fucking homosexual. But apart from that, like, I wasn't thinking straight. And I was like, you know what? This stuff is supposed to be inside my body, isn't it? I'll just put it back in there. So I tried to eat it. And I just, like, I swallowed down on it. And I was like, this has gotta work. And it tasted horrible. Obvious.
No shit.
Never try to eat blood. I know you see your little Showtime SMP fanfiction and you see Quackitus eating someone and you're like, oh my god, I should totally try that. Human blood tastes like shit. Right?
No, it tastes like shit.
And he said, do not emulate anything we do. I tried to eat blood, right? And then I'm sitting here, my mouth covered in blood, from throwing it up and also trying to swallow it afterwards, right? And like my hands covered in blood, my like entire body covered in blood. I look like the second coming of Carrie, right? So I do the most logical thing, right? And I call my good friend Ezra. Ezra, if you're watching this, you're my goat. But I call my friend Ezra, and I'm like, the blood tastes bad. And Ezra's like, yeah, it would. What the fuck did you do? I'm like on the verge of tears, and I'm like, it tastes icky. And Ezra's like, go wash yourself off, and then you can call me. And he hangs up, and he leaves me there. And I'm just like covered in blood, and like the knowledge of my sins is like crawling on my back. Sans Undertale is in my bathroom at that moment. And he's just like shaking his head at me. And I'm just like,
oh my fucking god.
And you know what I do? Instead of being like a normal person and being like, you know what? You know, I should just give up and like take a shower, right? I licked my hand again. So I was like, maybe it just tasted bad the first time. And it'll taste better if I try it again.
Violetta Fire.
And then
you really did not just say, okay, hit the remix.
Okay, this is insane. No, so I licked my hand, I'm like, what do you say? I'm like, okay, second time isn't that bad. So I try it again, and then it's awful, because of course it is, because human blood tastes horrible. I just lay down on the floor and I'm just like, okay, God, it's over. You can finally take me now. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm saying psych right now. Don't. That's how my afternoon went. Why I called you a fucking vampire? No, it's true. I think if you scroll down far enough in my like super private account, you can see images of that day, and you can see my live like experiencing of it. Because I was like, oh my god, guys, look at its color. It's kind of pretty. And then you can just see the downward spiral from there.
V Violetta Fire eating blood for the first time, being like, "Yo, this edible ain't oh my god!"
You know, the first time I had edibles, it was by accident, and that was one hell of a high. Sorry, don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kids. I was about to tell a story, but then I'm like, that involves like hardcore drugs, so I'm just like, maybe I'm not gonna say that.
One time, Beetle did 8 kilograms of cocaine, 70 kilograms of ecstasy,
but a
80
but
billion
a friend
kilograms
of mine did. But a friend of mine did, which is what the story is.
The emotion
and then they woke up 24 hours later in a McDonald's play place.
Okay, but that's like a reasonable place to wake up, I think.
Because it was their first party they ever went to. FBI guy watching through my camera, don't
FBI guy watching through my camera right now, psych.
Don't. But yeah, so my friend DC, I said I wasn't gonna tell a story, but now you're prompting me to tell a story now.
Yeah.
But my friend DC, in I believe it was his freshman year, went to the first party, I think the only party that he's ever been to. And I'm gonna say content warning before this. Yes, this story does involve cocaine. So if you do not like the mention of drugs and or ingesting drugs, I suggest you click out of this. Don't worry, it was on accident, which I don't think is any better. Well, because someone decided it was a bright idea to put them in pixie stick, like roll them up and make them look like pixie sticks. So not only did DC go, oh look, fun snacks for me to have, they ingested 2 pixie sticks worth of cocaine.
Oh, delicious! A good snack for my good stomach.
I shit you not, full on ingested 2 pixie sticks worth, and they had a very bad night. is what I will say. And it was not only until I think after where it's like they wake up. I don't even think it's 24 hours later. They wake up and they're in the middle of a McDonald's play place, and it is 2 a.m. So the presumption is that they passed out and then it closed, and the employees forgot that he was in there, and so he's locked in a McDonald's for the next, I would like to say, like 5 or so hours. And it was not until he showed us listen to like the voicemails on his phone of a friend of his going, hey hey, DC.
I didn't do this.
No,
I didn't do this.
No, you didn't do this. It's like, hey DC, so you were outside my door. You were outside my bedroom window, and you were asking about a plant, but I didn't have one, and you got really sad, and you went away. Are you okay? I can give you a ride to school tomorrow if you want.
That's an insane bar.
So apparently the story is that DC stumbled out of this party, went to a friend's house of his, and started knocking on their bedroom window asking for a succulent, and got really mad when their friend didn't have one. And I think he just like wandered in a field somewhere, like he vaguely remembers that, and then remembers waking up at 2 a.m. in a McDonald's play place. Anyway, the story of this is that kids don't do drugs. don't do drugs. Don't do them.
Do not touch them.
But that is, I think, the only. That's like the only like situation that is like comedic. I I have no interesting stories like that because I'm a clean, pure virgin boy. But
Right.
yeah, I just that came to mind. Oh my god, average Californian resident.
I think they would have kind of been next door and they have a succulent. No, that's real actually. If I showed up at your door and I demanded a succulent from you and you did not like produce one within like the 24 hours, I think I would have been married.
I know. The thing is, I do have a succulent. Actually, it's
That's my
on my
point.
desk right now.
I have a
Yeah.
Lego succulent that works as even better.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend has Lego succulents. She has a lot of them. Yeah. My girlfriend got me a succulent for Valentine's Day. And it's very lovely. She was going to do a Lego bouquet, but she ran out of time.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I am gay. So if you want to drop your criticisms in the comments below, so that I can ban you. Hey guys, drop your favorite slur in the chat.
No.
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Do not do that. Do not do that. I'm fucking staring you right in your fucking eye. Do not do that. I am joking. I am joking. That is a joke. Oh god.
Sometimes I think about the fact that when I want to date, I have to like think about that for a second because the amount of time I've just sat through myself and I go, maybe I'm bisexual, and then I speak to an actually bisexual person more than bisexual.
Yeah.
I watched the One Piece live action. I'm gonna dilute an embarrassing experience here, Tess. Stays between us. Unless you clip it, in which case I guess I have no control. But I watched the One Piece live action.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a small moment where I was like, damn, all these people are pretty attractive, right? Like in personality. Right?
Yeah.
And then I sat with myself, like, for a full moment. Like, am I not a lesbian? And how do I explain this? Zoro from One Piece, right? Specifically the live action version made me have to like have a small pause and think to myself, oh my god, wait, am I not gay? And then I remembered. And this is what reminded me of my roots, right? This man is gay. This man is full stop a homosexual. And I also remembered, would I ever hold hands with a man? And I had to sit there with myself and I cringed at the thought of it. So I was like, I'm probably not. Compound is a powerful drug, and Zoro One Piece is even stronger.
Oh, that kind of goes hard though. Okay.
Did you look him up?
Yeah, I did.
No, you get it though, right? Like,
no, I know I get it.
And he said,
no, I get it. I'm looking at you and I'm like, uh-huh. So the thing for me, which makes it harder, is I think the question that I've asked myself for a long time, and I still kind of ask day to day, is this an actual like attraction thing, or do I just want your gender?
Yeah.
Which is I think 95% of the conversations I have, where I'm like, ooh, no, I just want his gender. No, I just want to be you. I don't.
You know the horrible thing one of my IRL the other day? He's banned in my chat, by the way. This is an IRL that I have banned from my Twitch chat because he keeps popping up and then he just doxes me casually. I'm like, dude! And he said, but, this real life friend of mine, he was talking, like, because I was having a conversation with him, partner, girlfriend, good friend of mine as well. And we were talking, and, she asked me to get something for her, and I went, anything for you, like, and I, like, jokingly flirted, right? Like, in the way, like, you do when you are homies with someone, and you go, anything for you, sexy, or anything for you, my glorious princess, and shit like that, right? In a very obviously joking tone. And then he asked me to do something for him, and I went, no, go fuck yourself, you can do it yourself, right? Which brought my friend, like, the attention to the friend, right? That I am extremely nice to women and I'm just an asshole to any man that breathes ever, right?
Oh my
And they brought this up to me, and they were like, Leslie, I understand that you're one of them queers, because, you're a lesbian and stuff. And I'm like, yes, I am a lesbian. And they were like,
I am a lesbian and stuff.
and they were like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't think anything's wrong with me. I think you guys are just shitty people, and I'm going to treat you like shit because of it. And they're like, we're not shitty people. I'm like, okay, right? Like, the shit I have heard from all of your mouth, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. And they bring up the situation, right? Where one of my guy friends, one of my girlfriends, right? She was like, girl space friend, right? How do you say? One of my girlfriends, like, asked me, hey, can I sit here? And not only do I give her my nice seat with a cushion, right? I moved to a more broken seat that does not have a cushion. And I move all of my things for her, and I like set up a little workstation for her, and I make her a tea, and let her sit down at my table, right? And then that same day, later on, one of my guy friends comes up. He's like, hey, can I sit here real quick? Like, I just have to say, like, can I put my computer here? He didn't even say, can I sit here? He's like, can I put my computer here for a second? I need to charge it. And I look him dead in the eyes, and I go, fuck no. There's a charger on the other side of the class. Go plug it in there. I want my space, right? Which is a testament to me, right? But as I was arguing with my friends, another one of my friends pulls out his phone and shows me an image of Sanji from One Piece and goes, do you find him relatable? And I nearly socked him in the jaw. And I haven't lived that down. If a girl's done, if a woman wants to pass through an area that is in front of me, I will take off my jacket and I will let it get wet should she be able to pass through dry. If a man spills anything down, I will use his hair to mop up the mess. I do not care what anyone else tells me. Are you a trans man? I don't care. Equal gender rights, bitch. Rock me the floor with your head. If you're non-binary, you're on thin fucking ice.
Guys, it's so Jover. I'm gonna take my leave. Okay, I'm gonna. Alright, I'm gonna head out.
It's like, it's been nice knowing you all. Beetle. That's she, her pairing all the work for you here.
Hey guys. I am not going to reveal my pronouns on the stream. You do not know my pronouns. You do not know who I am.
Why are you saying it like a politician addressing a controversy?
I did not have... No. I did not have pronouns with that woman.
I did not have pronouns
Happy
with that
Women's
woman.
Month, by the way!
Happy Women's Month!
Oh my god. Yo, I was one of those
women.
ones.
6'5", by the way.
Yo, I was one of those ones. I was one of those before the war.
Skeleton War?
Yes.
Do you think if someone comes up to
know.
you in public nowadays, like
I did not hear you, what?
Do you think if somebody was up to you in public, like today's year of our Lord and Savior, and looks you dead in the eye, says, I like your shoelace, that's a ground call for microaggression?
Well, fucking huge sigh, just like, yeah.
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 I love women. Yeah, you have. I'm never living down the Sanji from One Piece allegations, but at this point, I've just kind of like. One of my friends.
I was trying not to fucking shit my pants laughing at that. I'm sorry. I'm like, that goes beyond psychoanalyzation. That's a psycho affront to God. That's what that is.
No, that's not even a psycho affront to God. That's just like, how do I say this? It's like assigning someone a kin, and if the kin is a war criminal, right?
Yeah.
And your friend has definitely committed war crime. This is like an indirect way of telling them, you are a war criminal. You know, that's the vibe, right?
It's like, this is an intervention. Oh my god.
Listen,
it's so Joer.
I do not know what gender identity I am, but I know if your pronoun she, her, you alright.
You alright.
And
Neon
there's a, and Rin specifically has made an approximation where I have 2 exceptions to this rule, and 1 for each gender, mind you. And for the men, right? We have Divi, who I'm nice to, right? And for people who use she, her, on the other, we have Zolister Television.
Zolister Television!
The she,
Shout
her,
out.
the she, her did not save him in this instance. And Rin has made a graph, actually, of the amount of gender identity you have leaning towards feminine, and the amount of nice that V will be to you. This has become a genuine issue. It's gotten to the point where I'm like, is this a problem? Am I having a problem right now?
I think I did tell you that one time my friend Captain was like, hey, am I the most homophobic person that you know? And I go, no, you're not.
Could never be him. And it's just like a photo of me mounted on your wall.
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh, Violetta Fire, we're really in it now.
Oh, Violetta Fire. Oh, CV, like, we're really in it now.
No, and like she was like really disappointed. She's like, really? And I'm like, not by a long shot. You have so many more years to train.
I understand that you have to face off against me.
Train for another 1,000 years. Oh my god.
I don't want to hear any of you say, oh, I'm homophobic and gay. No. Because you have not gotten to the point where your actual love of your life partner has told you, like, in a public VC, I love you so much. And then instead of responding the same, right before she goes to leave, you don't go, ew, that's gay. You're not doing it right? And it's not like I'm doing this intentionally. At this point, it's become a subconscious thing. Where, like, I want to clarify, I don't do this just for gay. I'm an equal opportunities hater. And every single time that a couple interacts lovingly in front of me, I do the, like, homophobic stare. In which I just kind of, like, look at them. And, like, I may have homophobia in my eye, but, like, it's real now, you know? And I just have to, like, look at them. And then they just kind of stop. And that's the vibe we're going with tonight. Because every single time anyone of any gender has made out in front of me, how do I say this? I have out loud, like a cartoon character, made the sound, ew!
Fucking god. I'm gonna be so honest right now, and I'm gonna put myself on blast saying this. If I showed you even a screenshot of me and my girlfriend's DMs, you would never let me live it down.
I would not. That's true.
Listen, I love my wife. I love my wife so much. She is one of the most, like, romantic people I have ever met in my life. And it very clearly shows. Because she is so sweet. But it's also just, like, showing each other's DMs. It's her going to be like, oh my god, I love you, baby. You're like the most perfect person on the planet. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I sent her gay Mario.
Horrible.
And then it has made me like sit back and go, am I trying to utilize my emotional unavailability as a tool of humor? And should I unpack that in therapy? And usually the answer is yes, but not now. And then I send gay Mario again. So
You're like, maybe I struggle. Maybe I have problems with
I just, oh god. But I love my wife. I love my wife very much. Shout out to my wife, everyone.
No. Unshadowed. Her shadow has been removed. No more shadow for your wife. Only one thing left for your wife.
She fucking evaporates.
And that's the shadow realm.
No!
I think we should just normalize it. Because, like, as we all know, this is something we're all able to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
In which, how do I say? Thank you. So, you wake up, right? And you gotta teach a child. Okay, we'll see. So you wake up in the morning, right? And you know, you do your arcane practices, you go like sacrifice a child, like we all do, right?
Yeah. You know, the normal shit.
And you see a man who is bequeathing his place, right? He's bequeathing his place in the world so damn. And you just want to send him to the shadow. But unfortunately, we've unnormalized that because apparently it's unethical, and they have a family and they want to see their family again. And oh my god, V, please stop sending people to the shadow realm. They have lives, stuff like that. And like, okay, I get it in theory.
Yawn.
But like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, yawn. Like, how do you just
normalize sending people to the shadow realm? Damn it!
No, yeah, because like if they were actually, you know, prosperous and joyous, they could just get out of the shadow.
Just get better.
Yeah, no, if they were just like more, like satisfied and joyful, they could have gotten, better. But clearly, they lack skill, and that's on them. And that's on them. And I'm tired of denying it. Anyway, that's been my major today. Follow for more major.
My god. Oh.
Have you bequeathed your betrothed recently?
What?
Bazinga.
Love is in the air? Wrong. Gas leak.
Bazinga. I have to just start ending my jokes with Bazinga. Just like throw people off.
Now I'm fucking thinking. Now I'm thinking about, the image of, do you kiss your mom with that mouth? I grew up in an orphanage. Bazinga.
You kiss your mother with that mouth? I grew up in an orphanage. Oh. Bazinga.
Oh my
fucking love Hugo.
Ratioing Hugo with just Bazinga.
I should redraw that. I should redraw the interaction just for chat to see.
Like, oh my god, Bazinga. God.
No, okay, chat for context, right? For our lovely audio listeners, right? I made this comment in the year of our Lord and Savior 2020 between my friend Jack's character Hugo and my character Kimon, right? And the context here is that Kimon got mauled to death by wolves and then came back as a ghost. Now bear with me here, like hang on, right? Kimon then haunts his older brother, half-brother, his older half-brother. And he's like haunting him and doing that shit. And Kimon, prior to this, is like a really nice kid. And then he finds out that Hugo's been doing some pretty messed up shit with Hugo's information and like doxing them on social media platforms. And he's like, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's morally wrong. And he's already having a bad time because everyone he knows hates him because he's a ghost now. They're scared of him. So he's having a bad time. He has a psychotic break, which is never good when you're a ghost because you can't unpsychotic break a ghost. And how do I say this? He haunts Hugo and essentially tortures him for the rest of eternity. But during that time, they have a very specific interaction that I drew a comic in which Hugo says a swear word. And Kimon goes, "You kiss your mother with that mouth?" And then Hugo, angry out of his mind, goes, "I grew up in an orphanage." And it's just Kimon's reaction is just the most horrified, aghast, wide-eyed stare that I think I have ever drawn in my entire life.
The swear words kill my grandma, okay?
The swear word kill my grandma.
No. Bazinga.
Bazinga.
Bazinga. God. I enjoy Hugo in the way of like crumpling up a piece of paper and throwing it into a fireplace.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Hugo's like dead to me, but like in that way where it's okay, let him go.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, because I'm relatively new to like, I guess in heavy quotation marks, lore. Because I'm very detached from the rest of like the other like groups that Jack has brought in. So I'm just like kind of standing here by myself going, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I have a toxic lesbian. Actually, I have two of them. I have a lot.
There's so much toxic Yuri. There's so much toxic Yuri.
I actually have a lot of lesbians who just have things wrong with them. I love problematic women. But yeah, so I'm just kind of standing here going, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm here to have a good time.
I'm here for
which promptly made me do like a hard reset and like push me into a creative slump where I've just been like, I like figuratively and creatively like fucking flip the table going, wow, all of these silly blorbos are stupid. Like, and just like flip the table and start it over because I got frustrated. Wish me luck in the lurk. We'll try not to burn a marshmallow. Don't burn the marshmallow!
You can always do the exclamation point lurk command if you know what to
Yes.
Where
yes. Gracious.
Okay, I did my showtime for Palace. Alright. That was my last thing. Wait, no, that's a lie. I have to finish the coloring. Yeah. Specifically for Raz and I both wanted the same claim. So I was like, I'll color it, you sketch it. And Raz was like, that works.
We divide and conquer. But yeah, so I just kind of like creatively. Sorry, I didn't mean to like hop into a topic all of a sudden.
I like.
But I just kind of like, just like figuratively flipped the table and said fuck this shit, and now I'm basically resetting every character that I have because I'm just frustrated.
I get it.
But it's just like, it sucks so much, man, because you have like all these ideas, and I think you like speedrun and you like overexert yourself and you stretch too thin going, oh, I have this idea and this idea and this idea, and then you kind of like forget the core ideas that you already had, if that makes any sense, where you're like, oh, well, I wanted this vibe, but then I didn't fulfill the vibe that I wanted, and so now I just kind of is like a facsimile of, no, I'm gonna say words and I don't know what the fuck they mean.
No. Say words. Say yourself hooked.
I say words, I don't know what they mean. Yeah. Okay, facsimile is correct. Okay. Thank you, Mom. Like just the kind of like a facsimile of what I want to do, and so I'm like, oh man, I've strayed too far. I've fucking taking a fucking leaning back in my chair, lighting a cigarette, going, I've sold myself out. I used to be good in this business.
I girl busted people listen to them.
No, literally though, and it's just like it's so frustrating. I don't know. I don't intend for this to me being like wah 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 wah. But I just like it's weird being in a creative slump because I normally don't. I'm normally not in one, or if I am, I'm like denying the fact that I'm in one. And so when I actually acknowledge, I'm like, oh shit. So I mean,
Bugger.
I do have blorbos though. I do have many blorbos that I made up in my brain hole. Also, I didn't see the message.
For me, I have the opposite issue, which I just like don't do anything. If that makes sense, where it's like I have the blorbos, they're written out. I just don't like finish sending the writing. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Show that I finished my claim for the night. Yeah. But specifically for like I don't know what to call it, Jesus fucking Christ, but yeah, for that server. It is like I have the guy. Oh! Hey!
Yo!
How's
Raid.
We are just in the
Welcome! We're just talking about blorbos,
Yeah,
and he's doing some claim drawings for Showtime for Palestine, I believe.
I said, speaking of, we do exclamation point on.
Yes.
And then you get a free sketch for if $1 gets you a free sketch.
Yes.
This is not my art style.
Please. Yes. Please donate if you can, and if you cannot donate, it is free to spread the word. It takes no effort to inform yourself and people around you. Welcome. Well, what we're oh right, okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. Where it's like I have the guys for like funky fresh.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. But it's like I don't know why though, because it's not like I don't get like positive reinforcement. I think it's just also that perhaps the Minecraft SSD community has also ruined my perception of my writing and character.
Yeah.
Because I was looking back at my writing.
I can see how that could happen.
Yeah, I was looking back at my old writing. I was a lot more confident in what I was writing, and I was a lot more unafraid to tackle topics because I wasn't afraid of being canceled 24/7.
Yeah, it's like you have kind of this, not like reckless Amanda, but you have this kind of freedom to be like, I am confident in just like going out there.
No, the marshmallow.
I think. No! Womp womp. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
But,
mm-hmm. But, like, specifically, with this, right? And I saw a little silly Twitter post about it, where it's like, I am begging you all to stop writing your characters as though they're afraid of being canceled, right? In which they, like, say words, and then, like, you can tell they're just, like, trying to make sure they don't upset everyone, right? And I would fall into those pitfalls a lot before then, but, like, I think now, just, like, this has also elevated it, where I'm afraid to say anything vaguely controversial, and then it'll just be taken completely out of context and wildly misinterpreted.
Yeah. Which is just like, ugh.
Yeah. But like stuff like that, right? Where it's like, stop writing your characters like they're afraid of Twitter, the woke Twitter mob coming for them, right? And it's like, yes, but at the same time, it's also more so just like um genuine unwillingness to sit down and dedicate myself to, like, developing these characters that I have had for the past. It's more than 5 years. I've had them for 5 fucking years. Jesus Christ.
Oh god, yeah.
Like server, but like, you know, it's kind of that vibe that I'm right now, where it's like, I don't want to make a character that'll disappoint. I know a lot of people believe in I don't want to do something that disappoints. Hello.
Yeah.
That's an insane username. That's an insane username. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as a compliment. Hello, guy liner dilf. Thank you so much for the follow.
Real. Oh, shout out to them.
This is why we have these conversations while live on air on Twitch.tv and Monetize. Because that way, halfway through me being like, maybe it's just like an issue with inferiority. And then I turn it around and guy liner dilf has followed me.
Shout out to Guyliner Dill. Yeah. I guess it's also just like, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak on that side as much because, again, what's a Minecraft? I don't know what a Minecraft is. Do you know what a Minecraft is?
No, not really.
No. I think in the game you mine and you craft. Don't know about that though. Don't take that with a grain of salt. Don't. Yeah, no. Our esteemed pod of researchers is still working around the clock to discover what, in fact, a Minecraft is. But we'll get back to you on that, and the thesis will be in final draft next spring. Anyway, yeah. I also just like I also am very susceptible to what I like to call the vibe disease, where I think of a very potent vibe in my head, and that's where I base like 95% of my characters around, but then I don't flesh out what those vibes are. Where I'm just like, ooh, I think a character based off of this would be interesting, and then my brain goes, and then you're gonna develop it, right? And then you're gonna develop it, right? And then I don't.
Yeah.
And then it usually ends up being a lot more one-dimensional than I'm wanting it to be, because I, again, base it off of a vibe and some vague kind of outline of something that I can picture in my head. And then I go, oh, well, shit. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's fucking weird, man. Writing is hard. Writing is hard and it's weird. And I am very recently getting back into, like, writing with other people as well. Because it's been a while since I've done that. And just, like, collaborating and, like, roleplay and, like, D&D and stuff like that, I guess, is just, like, difficult because I'm having to get back into the mindset. And I get too overwhelmed too easily. But I'm having fun. I might be a little bit maybe exhausted at this point, but I'm having fun.
The burnout signs, Beetle, the burnout signs.
I know. I feel like there's too many. There's too many concepts going on. There's too much because there's so many people, and it's like whenever I'm like, oh, I have this concept that I've made, someone else is already jumping in with the same idea, which is not a bad thing, by the way. I should preface that by saying that everyone can do what they want, and everyone can go vibe, and everyone can go have a fun time, but it is a little disconcerting when I'm like, ooh, I'm a cook at a pasta, and then someone comes in, they're like, I'm cooking the same pasta, and I'm like, oops, I don't want to get called a copier, so I'm going to shut my mouth.
Yeah.
So, because I also have that thing where it's like I internalize a lot of the ideas that I have as like stupid. So I'm like, well, this is not cooked enough, or I want to keep some things secret, or I want to make this more like, you know, a low-key thing or a thing that I'm planning out over a very long period of time because I want this to be good. And then, like, in the middle of this kind of planning process, someone comes in and expresses the same idea. And then I'm like, aw, shucks, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, and so I'm just like, oh, well, fuck. But I don't want to be that guy who comes in and be like, Actually, I thought of the idea first, even though I didn't explain any of this to anyone. Actually, check yourself. So I just like, I don't want to be that guy because being that guy is stupid. But it does kind of suck. So I think because there are so many people and there's so many ideas happening at once that I'm just like, there's too many. There's too many Blorbos. We've reached Blorbo overload. I'm overdosing on Blorbos.
We've reached Blorbo capacity. I said that's why I've limited myself to my 4.
Yeah.
And they're all really good, fleshed out characters. I'm very proud of all of them. I really hope nobody misconstrues one of them specifically. Looks over at Orion, please.
I get it.
I'm so horrified of Orion being misconstrued. Because he's a bigot.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not, like, actually bigoted. He's in denial about his own.
Yeah. Again, it's the complicated topics issue. Where it's like, you're like making a concept and you're like, I hope to fucking God this character does not get misconstrued, please, I'm sorry. Like, as you're like going into an interaction being like, please do not.
Do not think what he's doing reflects my actual thoughts and feelings.
Well, yeah, that. Exactly, like, I have a novel that I'm writing by my brother that I've been writing for, oh god, at this point, like 6 years. We've had these characters for a very long time. But, like, we co-write, like, the main antagonist together, and so we're thinking of these ideas, and I'm, like, we're sending, like, kind of, like, anecdotes back and forth, and I'm like, if this guy was ever released into the wild, it would be destructive. It would be so bad, because people would get it so wrong. I know they will. I know they'll get it so incorrect.
You're like, I've seen what happened on TV.
Literally. No, it's literally like, look how they massacred my boy. But like, massacred my boy is in, look how they woobified my boy. Because they would. But the thing is genuinely about the protagonist, like, he is genuinely a shitty person. And a lot of that shittiness comes from very mature topics that I'm very worried to write about, because then I'm like, I do not want anyone to think this reflects me as a person. I do not condone his actions. I think he's a piece of shit.
You hate him, good, me too.
I'm just like sitting there, I'm writing, and I have to like wash my hands every like 5 seconds as I type like one word. Because I'm just like,
That's me with William for Stan.
Oh god, yeah. I've heard of the horrors.
You've witnessed some of the horrors. Not firsthand, like I've said.
Yeah, no, you sent me some stuff, and I have witnessed some horrors.
Writing
but yeah.
Insane, by the way, because I want you to know I reached like a different plane of personality when I have to get really characters, right? And like I just have to sit back and reread what I wrote afterwards, and I just like kind of. And he said,
it's like you black out, you wake up, and you go, what the fuck?
And he said, because like specifically, there's this one scene where he grabs Aaron by the throat, right? And he tells him, wild animals were meant to be tamed, right? Which is an insane thing to say to a 17-year-old as a 38-year-old man, by the way. But
yeah.
And he said, he says that, and then he throws the 17-year-old against the floor, and essentially does the thing of like, I will fucking kill you, right? Which, you know, he's supposed to be the antagonist. He's supposed to be a horrible person. Although he does have, like, 7 sympathetic moments in all of history. You know, and you can maybe if you squint for like a full 80 minutes, you can maybe see where he's coming from, right? And stuff like that. Like, I do want to make it very clear, I don't think this guy is a good person. And I also don't condone people doing this. I just don't want that to be misconstrued.
Yeah, no, definitely. So just like this like balance of, please, I want people to have critical thinking skills.
No, but the thing is, and like, because it's a first-hand experience, right? right? Where since I'm doing this live on air in Kid Roleplay server, TCC, because originally it happened to TCC, I would watch people react to it, and there was one specific member, and I won't name names, but there was one specific member who was really into him, and I was like, ugh!
Oh.
Because he's like a relatively attractive man. But it's like, I don't know. I'm not into him because I'm not into abusive assholes.
Yeah, and I'm just
They
like,
Tumblr sexy man defied the abusive father. What have they done?
that happened to B's dad as well. I drew B's dad one time, and like, they made a fan Instagram account for this motherfucker.
Ew.
Yeah, and of course you know because I've told you the lore. B's dad sucks. Downvote. We don't like him. But I drew like I drew like a somewhat like disheveled pose. I guess it's just like he's like lighting a cigarette and he's like sitting down. So I'm like, okay, this is a cool. I wanted to do some post practice, so I posted and I was like, this is B's dad, and everyone like fucking went like wolf howl like awooga for some fucking reason, and I was like, no,
Maybe he's not attractive. Maybe he's just a white man.
Yeah, and like I start screaming like no, and I'm
please.
like, I'm never doing post practice again.
I'm never practicing my art.
Me making him as least attractive as possible, making him like the fucking standing man emoji, just fucking standing there doing nothing.
He's just standing there doing nothing. He's just staring at the camera like a freak. The guy.
Jesus shit. Sitting back in my chair, fucking taking a drag off of smoke. Like, why create? What bother? Is this what we worked for? Just to suffer? Man. See, this is why I'm excited for Chaos Incarnate, because it's full of people I know who have at least a couple brain cells.
I like the Chaos Incarnate lineup we have so far.
It is fantastic. I absolutely adore it.
So we have Ruthless, we have FE Gaming, we have you, my good homies Jack, and also I'm sorry,
Mawa
and Mawa. I'm glad you understood the reference there.
Yes.
I remember now. One of our first bonding experiences, I say taking a cigarette. Dark kid.
And then it's been downhill from
there.
Yeah.
But like, I can confidently write a character there because I'm like, finally, media literate people. Because I can write a character that is like kind of a shitty person, and you guys can look at him, and I don't have to feel the need to defend his actions to defend his character. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I fall into this pitfall a lot, and TV Lauren. Get a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little closer. Hey, whoa! Hi, Fergie. Welcome back from the war. Sorry.
Hello.
Okay, sleep well, Vic.
Bye.
But for my CV Lauren first. I have said this before, and I will say it again. CV is a horrible person. He is a shit guy, and I don't mean like obviously because he's surrounded by serial killers and like actual psychopaths. You're like, well, he's kind of okay, right? I need you to keep in mind this man
cannot be where the bar is.
I said, this man should not be trusted near any medical patient. A, and B, right? We're watching the baby let a fire streets the workout pause for a moment. I'm glad. This man cannot be trusted with any medical patient. A, this man should not be trusted around children actively. B, and I don't mean that in like the weird way. I just mean the fact that he's not a really good parent, right? In which, yeah, sure, he does.
The devil is not your daughter. I say with the fucking megaphone. The devil is
not your daughter. No, okay. I need you to keep in mind that CV. Oh my god, Opal soundtrack. Sorry, CV has this horrible habit, and this is in explicit text, right? That CV will assign people he knows, people from his past, and view them as that, just to try to feel some connection to them, which you shouldn't do to a person, right? You shouldn't be friends
No.
with someone just because they remind you of someone you used to know. And just because you miss that person, and not because you actively want to be friends with the person you're currently talking to. That's a horrible
Yeah, no.
thing to do, in my opinion. And V actively does that, and V will actively try to get closer to people who he remind him of people he used to know, because he wants to be around those people again without the added history of why they're no longer friends anymore, right? So
Yeah, it's basically like idealization of a relationship that has history, but it's
yeah,
just like projecting onto someone else.
and it creates this horrible thing where he has these expectations for people that are way too high because they have to live up to this perfect ideal. And ultimately, those expectations are going to be shattered. One of these days, somebody he knows is going to say something to him that will finally make him snap out of this daze that he's living in the past, and it's going to ruin him. But apart from that, right? He does this thing actively right now as a coping mechanism where he will idolize the person, which is why he can't correlate the Zalcer he knows today and the Zalcer that people tell him about. Like, they don't exist as two separate people in his life, right? Or even then, or the Effie that he knows and the Effie that kills people, because he hates with a burning passion people who will hurt other people, and yet he's friends with so many people who hurt other people, right? Because he can't process the fact that that it's the same person doing those things, right? Which is insane.
Yeah.
But it just happens, right? And specifically with his relationship with Onion / Raz, it's horrible. And every single time I play it, I get a little bit sicker inside, right? Because V projects Aloe onto Onion, and V treats Onion the way he wants to treat his dead daughter, who, for the record, is dead, and there's no doubt about this, because of him. I am saying, as the writer, in lore, V views it otherwise, because, there were situations that were outside of his control, and I agree, there were situations outside of his control, but ultimately, the way that he parented Aloe caused her death. And the way that he, let her do things without any control from him, any regard as a parent for her safety, caused her death, right? Yeah. That's something he needs to learn and take responsibility for. But right now, he's in denial about that, and I'll let him be in denial about that. But because of that, because of his dead daughter, he's projecting this onto Onion. And this projection onto Onion also makes him really, really, openly affectionate towards her, obviously. But also just, really protective over her. And somewhat possessive, right? In which, she feels like his kid when she's not. She's conscious. And that is first and foremost, right? And then, whatever the case, if she wants to call him anything else, he'll let her call her anything else. But it's that thing where, specifically, there's this one scene in one of Conscious' recent thoughts, in which we, oh, thank you! Twirls my hair. Specifically, in this, our most recent thought of Conscious, right? In which V grabs Onion's, shoulder, right? And Concha gets in V's face, and he goes, "Why the fuck did you just touch my daughter?" Which is a fair reaction. Is it extreme? Yes. But it's, a relatively fair reaction, right? He's on edge, and he just saw his daughter for the first time in a while. If a random, friend of yours just, randomly comes up to your daughter and tugs her by the shoulder, you're probably gonna, turn to him and be like, "Hey, what the fuck?" But specifically, with that, I didn't manage to portray it too well, in my opinion. But there's a moment there where V kind of just pauses and looks at Concha, and he has this split second thought of, "I really don't like this guy," and then he thinks to himself, "Hey, why the fuck did I think that?" Where it's huh, that's not a thought a normal person should have. Where it's he had this split second thought of, "Why are you keeping me from my daughter? She's not your kid, V."
Yeah.
Away from her. And he said, which is why number one CV hater is me. I hate my own character. And I don't mean that in the writing way. I love playing my character. I love writing my character. I'm an actual hater of the way he acts, though.
Contra.
This is my daughter now. And you know the
Why'd you
worst
put your hand on my daughter? And then Vivi like, it might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
You know the worst part is that Onion calls him Dad too. Like Dad with the number 2. And he just like stares.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how now V hates Boa? I will delve into this, actually. I will delve into this. Thank you for the thing, Boa. So, funny thing about CV, right? Is that V really, really idolizes the concept of being, like, a human, right? And specifically, this, right? Is that this idolization comes directly from the want to be perfect, because he was constructed, and this is my biggest spoiler of the stream, he was constructed to be the perfect vessel, right? It is explicitly stated by Nick in like the most recent schematic I made, in which V is made to be perfect. V is supposed to be perfect, and V cannot afford to be anything else, because then he loses all utility, and then he serves no purpose, and as such, he needs to be discarded within moments, right? Because if that thing keeps on living on, that thing should be dead, right? Even God will be like, no, right? So V has to maintain this like concept of perfection. However, the concept of perfection for V and the concept of perfection for everyone else is really skewered. And I won't delve too much into backstory, but it is greatly affected by his backstory and stuff. But specifically with Nyx, and I can delve into this. I think Nyx has explicitly stated it. I hope. If not, like, ooh, lore reveal. But if not, Nyx will state it in the future. It's not that huge of a spoiler. It's just like a thinking thing, right? In which Nyx has this idea that to be perfect is like flawless, right? Which is the like literal definition of perfection, right? So to be flawless is to not have anything like human error, which means to be human is inherently to be flawed, which means to be human is to be imperfect. So to not be human must thus mean to be perfect. Which if you think sounds convoluted, welcome to writing.
Yes.
But specifically with V, right, is that he really idolizes the concept of human. So if he views someone as human, and right now there's 2 people in the world that V does not view as human, which is how do you say that? Which is Win-Win Sleep and Boba, right? If he ceases to view you as human, that means you're just as bad as him. And I love V, right? In quotation marks, I love V. I'm a huge V hater. That man is full of self-loathing. That man wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and goes, "Ick! Oh my god, I just gave myself the ick!" Right? It's like that man is full of self-hatred, right? So he doesn't view himself as human under any circumstance. People calling him human is the one thing that immediately triggers him and makes him super uncomfortable. And he can't explain why. Because to explain why would mean acknowledging the fact that he has emotions. And he can't have emotions because that's a human thing. And only human beings have emotions, right? So it's stuff like that, right? And like that, there's a specific moment in Zombie Stream where V's talking to Zombie and he's like, and you feel like you can't be human because you, like, you know, have to distance yourself from this to, like, reach perfection. He's projecting there. He is 1000% projecting there. And Zombie's like, why are you psychoanalyzing me? And V's like, no, I'm relating to you. I get it, robot. I get it, right? So, specifically with Boba, he views this person, right, who saw someone else, even someone that he personally views as less than him, but saw someone else being used as a tool to help someone with a goal that is completely useless and just covered in hubris and stupid in his eyes, right? And he watched them just let that happen and completely changes the person within seconds, right? And like this person has had their memories wiped. This person has had everything taken from them. So what is left, right? And what is left for him to view as human, like from that, right? Because he wanted to hold on to the idea of like maybe the like Boba I knew was still in there, like deep down in there, but he's just given up that, like from now. right? Um, so he has that in his brain where he just like cannot stand Boba at the moment, right? And the funny thing about someone that V cannot stand, you saw with Nebula that V actively would like ostracize and make fun of her at every given opportunity because he found her annoying. He didn't hate her. He didn't find her irritating. He didn't even find her like disgusting or any way. He just found her annoying, right? And for V, hatred manifests in two ways. For V, hatred either manifests as fear of the other person or just like straight up aggressive. Um, and as a psychiatrist, right? I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want to make enemies with a guy who could probably end my entire like existence with just one diagnosis, you know? Especially a guy who is trusted for his medical skills. Um,
No.
I think if V went into town right now and went, "Hey guys, I think Boba's lost it. I think Boba's suffering from stage 5 schizophrenia." People would be like, "Okay, V, we believe you." And then it sucks. Hey, Rocco is my dog. Thank you for the follow. Um, but yeah, I have specifically thought about like that aspect about V's character and like idolization. Um, where it's like he will idolize things to a really toxic, right? Um, and that specifically is not great. So I think it hasn't been pointed out by anyone yet in lore, at least as far as I'm aware. Um, but you can see it with like a lot of interactions that V has, where he'll like for example, there's an interaction on XP stream where Divvy calls V a nice person, and V gets like really uncomfortable. He goes, "I'm not a person, right? Especially not." Um, and he starts like trying to get like really about it. He's like, "No, stop it! Like, stop calling me a person. Stop it! No, stop! Like, seriously." Um, because he's like not comfortable with the idea of being called something that's perfect. 24/7. He's like, "Ick, that's self hatred check. Ew, gross, sir." Um, but like stuff like that, you know. And then he's gonna say, Vito, do you have any questions for the guy?
No, I'm just listening. I got my little cup of tea. I'm sitting here and I'm listening very intently. I'm taking notes.
Like yeah, if you have any questions, go for that. By the way, I feel I've lost my train Go on, Boba. I believe you.
Yes. The one in the back.
The one in the back.
What is your question? I'm just like taking notes and thinking about. I know we say this a lot, but when CV and CB meet, the world will blow up.
The world will blow up.
They're like the exact antithesis of each other, and then also extremely alike in a lot of ways, which makes me very scared.
What is that? Like, I don't want to miss that. Actually, I want to leave that one for.
Ooh. Eyebrow raised emoji. Suspense.
Here's a spoiler. Not very happy.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
That's cool. 13 hours a day. Get well soon. Hope flying a plane is fun. You fucking plane flyer.
You fucking plane flyer. But God. Oh man, I love your writing.
Dad, no.
Your writing's so cool, man. I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm just like thinking about it. And I'm sitting very politely with my hands folded in my lap, sitting crisscross applesauce and listening very intently and just going, man, this is all so cool.
So cool. So cool.
Because it's just like, and pardon me, I'm going to start speaking out my ass here. It's just like, it's such a fascinating way to talk about like what, like that kind of like Ouroboros like logic loop of like, well, being human isn't perfect because obviously there's such thing as human error, so that way not being human means that you're perfect, but is that an insult or is that a compliment? And it's like talking about all of these concepts and how different people interpret these different concepts and what they idolize and what they don't is just like, it's so interesting and I like it. Especially just because I very much like those discussions about what does it mean to be human, and I just think it's good. I'm not wording correctly
No, you're
here,
good.
but
You're wording perfect.
I just find it very fascinating. I think when it comes to CV, and I pardon myself for being like, allow me to introduce my blorbo, but just like thinking about like idealization and just because I think also the thing that kind of fucks me up as well is like, not only are you idealizing this person and setting them to an impossible standard based on people in your past, because you're trying to not romanticize, but you're trying to like live vicariously through this past relationship that you had. It's that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that these new people aren't aware of this.
Yeah.
So it's like they're performing to a standard that they don't even know consciously exists, and that stuff fucks me up. That stuff gets me because it's like the idea that you are performing you're performing an act that you haven't memorized. You're performing a play that you haven't read.
Yeah. Okay.
All because someone is trying to kind of not escape the past in some kind of way. And it's just like, ugh. Again, like the devil is not your daughter.
The devil is not your daughter. I was about to bring up the fucking line.
The devil is not your daughter. I think about that a lot, and I think about, because like reading that initial, I think you sent the initial script to me.
Yeah, I
being
did.
like, hey, CV enjoyers, wake the fuck up. You're like banging the cowbell.
I sent it to Beetle to like double check if like enough, and Beetle hasn't.
Yeah.
Of like the skill of insanity that
I like fucking shoot up in bed like in a cold sweat, like going, and it's just like
Beetle is my beta reader for my lore.
Yeah, beta reader, non like against my will. No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm very much appreciative of anything that V sends me, and I enjoy reading your writing. But I do.
I send you it and I hold you at this
point. No, actually, no. V has a gun against my head.
Guys, please don't.
No, but I just like thinking about, and I am very bad at catching up on lore, as I've said before. Like I will be so honest in saying, chat, I know jack shit about Showtime, and you know what, at this point I don't care. The only lore I know about is the stuff that V has told me, and that's it. I'm good. I can die in peace. I'm okay. I've waded this war before, and I'm not gonna go through this again. So just getting kind of like what's the word? Like kind of myopic view of just kind of one person's story, because it's really what my mind can focus on, and just thinking about the way that Nyx and V's relationship changes in like one line just like makes me so normal.
Yeah.
Just like, because again, it's you talking about the idealization of like projecting like your past relationships onto someone, and it like shattering your worldview when they change those expectations that you have, and then suddenly you start treating them differently, and just like noticing the way the Nyx and V interact before and after, you find out that like the devil is a child. Is that a spoiler? I don't know if this is a spoiler.
No,
V
that's
tells me.
V says
Okay.
this like explicitly like 80 times.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. I don't know which is a spoiler and which
No,
is
if
not.
you say something that's a
because
spoiler, I will never stop you. I'll be like, okay. If people pick up on that, they pick up on that. Like I don't expect people to actually watch streams and analyze this. Unless
Yeah.
their name is just Pigeons. In which case, Pigeon, I'm doing this for you.
I just because you tell me things that I don't know whether or not people on Twitter.com know, because we just you come into Fellowship of the Fall and you're like, hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey guys, it's me again, your boy. And they're like, is it showtime again? I'm like, it's showtime again.
Fucking standing up there doing your type 5, being like, so what's the deal with the pariah? Which by the way, that whole dynamic, God, I mean, I've talked about that, and it's just like it's so, the only word I can use to describe it is like haunting.
Yeah.
It's very empty but full in a way. Like, when you're empty but you fill something up with bad food. It feels like that. Like, of like this idea of like playing out a family dynamic but with beings that are so beyond the concept of being human that it is kind of twisted in a way. And I think I did tell you, I'm like, this is so Opal by Jack Stauber. And then you were like, yeah, it
like,
is.
how did you? Vito will like just drop the inspirations for my writing casually, and I'll just be like, how the fuck did you figure that one out? Who told you this?
Because hand on your shoulder, we consume the same media, fool.
Because we consume the same fucking media.
Mostly, you showed me Ina, and my worldview's forever changed. But
I like showing.
What to say? I was looking in the background, but gained full focus when you started talking. When I'm not dying from the tunes, but sorry, I'm just reading chat. But it's very haunting in a way because oh goodness, because I love Opal very much. It's very, very good, but it's because of how good it is at being this kind of weird, like liminal, like haunting kind of story. And whenever I think about Nyx and Zolister TV and the Pariah, I think about that. And it's just like, it's so fucked up and for what? And I really, it's interesting. It's good. It's original. It's interesting. It's an interesting take on that kind of dynamic. Because it's just like, what would a hashtag family dynamic between a whole bunch of fucking gods look like? And it's basically like what I'm getting in my head. And spoiler alert, it's fucked up and bad. It's not good. Womp womp.
Really bad.
Would not recommend. And so just the way that kind of plays out is like what, you always think about what if humans played God, but what if God played human?
You get it! You get it! That's my thesis!
Which is like, humans playing God is interesting, but I like the concept of God playing human a lot more. Because it's like, how do you as this being who exists beyond the folds of time and space, and are literally like the concept of creation and literal nothingness, is like, how do you create something human, And it's just like, I just, God, fuck, fucking shaking you by the shoulders. I'm so normal. But yeah, I mean, this is just me kind of speaking off my ass. But God's playing human is a very interesting concept to me. I find it more interesting and more rare than humans playing God, which I also like, because when it's done well, it can be, fucking shitting out my ass good. But I feel like God's playing human, and like the flip side of that is rarer, and I just find it more interesting when people do it, because I'm interested to see how people interpret that. And it's just like, I think that's what comes to mind when I think about like the gods of Showtime. Anyway, I am so normal. I'm so normal about your writing. I am so normal about your characters. I do believe that they are very good. actually, me talking about this in like a fucking like 5-page essay, and me going, actually no, it stinks bad, lol.
It's like,
No.
actually your characters suck.
Actually, they suck total fart balls.
You're like halfway through and you go, psych, by the way. And you just like log out, block me, never speak to me ever again.
I block you on Discord.
You make a call out post 50-page document on twitter.com.
But yeah, so it's just like, I mean, I've gushed about this before, but it's just like it's super interesting. It's sometimes I feel like I don't have enough brain cells to fully like get it the first time, but it's also just because I'm very scared of like, maybe it's like just the fear of like getting it wrong. It makes me kind of scared sometimes because I have this idea where like, oh, it's like this, right? And then
I'll be
the
like,
person who created
you stupid little crybaby, and then I'll make fun of you. Like,
no, but that's
gay
legit,
boy.
like, but that's legit. Like I fear that sometimes. Like I legitimately do. Because I'm afraid of getting it wrong, and then I'm afraid of like you being like, actually, I'm gonna take back everything I said.
I've inherited this thing from Ivory in which I don't believe there's any interpretation of my characters, just interpretation of my characters. The mindset that is given me, second, like a hand-me-down, but it's just like my actual brain process, right?
Mm-hmm.
But specifically from my interpretation, right? I think you're the one who has gotten it right, like 100%.
Oh.
Yeah. And even then, sometimes I will be developing a concept, and then I will message you because you are someone who will like develop the concept further in your analysis of it. But actually, like I know what I'm doing, but like at the same time, it's like I just need to like check someone else who also knows.
Yeah.
Specifically, someone with like really good media. I think you have.
Wow. You cut out a little bit at the end, but I know what you were talking about.
Hey, Quack!
I just Hi, Quackadus. I don't know who you are. Hi.
Vito, I know. I've spoken about Quackadus many times, but we keep this between us.
No, I'm saying, I have not, I'm not consciously, I've never met you, but hi. I know what your name is. I don't know you.
I don't know you. Exclamation point parasocial. Exclamation point parasocial.
/ban. No. Hello, welcome. We're talking about Blorbos and whatnot, but I'm so normal. I don't know you. But I'm the same way where it's like, well, I don't write a lot of B stuff anymore just because I kind of like cooked too hard. I cooked too close to the sun and then got kind of burnt out, and then I was like, But it's the same thing where it's just like, you get it.
I message you and I go, let's indulge.
Let's indulge. And let me say this right now. If I was, maybe this would be vain. Maybe this is vain. Maybe this is a little bit self-indulgent, might I say. If I was a Minecraft Twitch streamer, the world would not survive. I think the world would blow up. If I dropped the Mana Chopsis Google document, the world would blow up. They also wouldn't get it. But
they wouldn't get it because
a lot of my writing is unnecessarily flowery and also very vague because I like talking about concepts that you can't see. Also, maybe I should give some context. Hi everyone. If you don't know, I have a little Minecraft guy. Their name is B. Just the letter B, as in banana. I don't know why I said banana. Anyway, I have a little Minecraft guy. I'm also not a content creator, so you've probably seen pictures of my little guy on Twitter, and probably nothing else. But I have a little guy. Their name is B, and they're a scientist, and that's pretty much it. They're just a scientist. Smile.
Nothing else.
I say as like fucking like demons behind me are wailing and screaming, the horrors, the horror.
You're just like, no, well, you can't.
Yeah, but I've had beef for a hot minute, and B is just kind of one of the little guys I have. Oh my god, I love writings like that. Yeah, a lot of if I will say this, and I will say this only, if you have seen the movie Skinamarink, yeah, that's basically how I write B, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. Also, I have had someone message me going, "Oh my god, is that Ness fan art from Earthbound?" I was like, all right, I'm packing it up and I'm going home. That's it. I'm out of here. No, that's not a lie though, because my skin is actually Ness from Earthbound. I've committed a filza, unfortunately. I made a small oopsie. I made a small filza Minecraft oopsie.
It will always be more than Ness from Earthbound.
I will always be more than Ness from Earthbound. Which, by the way, Earthbound is also another huge inspiration. Shocker. Because I played Earthbound. I am almost finished with it, but I played Earthbound recently, and I very much love it. It's a very good game. But so I don't want this to be like, here's my Blorbo. Because I always feel self-conscious about talking about little guys. But yeah, I'm just a little dude, and there's a lot of lore, but I don't. It's hard to figure out what's canon and what's not canon, because I've been in so many like private like pickup SMPs that kind of die out after a while. There's some stuff that's like canon, like really integral to B's timeline, and then there's stuff that isn't, just because it's kind of like an AU what if scenario. Just because they didn't last very long. But some stuff is normal. But I don't know. I have a little guy. It's not very as eloquent as be talking about Showtime stuff, but I don't know. I
don't think my ramblings are eloquent. I think it's just me yelling into my hands for half an hour about human psychology.
But you like have stuff planned out. I don't know how much I want to talk. I'm saying this like people know what Chaos Incarnate is and that they're gonna like watch it. No, they're not. That's the whole point of Chaos Incarnate, is that it's just fucking us sitting around a circle doing like a nightmare blunt rotation. But I'm struggling to think about like what to talk about, because I do have kind of a weird kind of like pseudo pipe dream where it's like, oh, one day I'm gonna do like, just like little lore streams, or like kind of like video stuff in Minecraft about B and their lore and stuff like that. Because listen, they're just a little guy. They're the littlest guy. And the only reason why they exist is because I have a running joke that in every single Origin server that I join, I play a human, because I suck at the game Minecraft, and I don't want my experience to be changed in any way, otherwise I will explode on the spot. So I'm boring, and I just play human. Which means that usually I'm the outlier, because no one picks human, because they're like, that's boring. And I'm like, well, I like being boring, because that means I can play the game. But I always play human, and so the running joke became, oh, you're a human in a world of people who are different races, so you're the kind of the odd one out. And then I was just like, what if I just played a guy who was really into science? Like, really into science. And that was like their only character trait, is they're just like into the concept of science. And then it became a meme from there. So that's basically
the joke character has derailed. I repeat, the joke character has derailed.
Literally though. So now it's like become like an actual like, not philosophical, that's gonna make me sound pretentious, but it's become like a concept of, okay, what does it mean to be in love with the concept of something? And I actually had I had a thing I didn't finish. I sent you, who start from jokes are always the best. Oh, B is still a joke, because I always pick Origins, and I always pick I always pick humans in every Origin server, like without fail.
I said, except for Chaos Incarnate, where you are playing Human Plus, where you are ever so slightly Bitter, faster, stronger.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like, there's some in-lore explanation for that, but that's a secret I'll never tell. XOXO Gossip Girl. But fuck, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, there was a, I think I sent you some screenshots of it that I wrote in a fucking notepad.txt file on my computer. But I had some snippets of like what would a recorded interview between CV and CV would look like. And I sent you some screenshots of those, and then I stopped writing it because I was like, this is cringe, and I didn't finish it because I thought it was bad. So I never finished it. I do want to though, because I do feel like it's interesting. But yeah, I think about their dynamic, and the world explodes. Also, just because it's like, B canonically doesn't age. It's a weird explanation. I'm not gonna get into it because it might be spoilers for something, but like B's body ages, but like they perpetually look like they're like 15 or 16 years old. So I just imagine B's beefing with a fucking teenager the whole time.
To be fair, B's like body looks like 7.
Yeah.
Like
they're both like
he looks like a 16-year-old, like 24/7.
That's so fucking funny.
Like, how long have you been alive? Like, I don't know, 80 years? When you look 16? Like, horror. No, okay. Okay, I can't say that. I can't say that on stream. But you know damn well why it's so funny to me when every single time B says, like, oh no, I'm 80 years old. Oh, I'm 70. Like, this motherfucker is that. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. I just like I hate it because I feel like I'm vain saying it, but like I need them to meet right now.
I need them
to meet right now. I need them to meet right now. It's so funny. I love my silly little Blorbo.
Speaking of indulgence, I want to go back to your gods pretending to be human. Let's skip lifetime.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay. Kat, as the writing team director of the gods, this is me pulling out like my official PhD, and it's just like a scribbled license that says
your fucking like badge.
It's like my badge, but it's like scribbled in crayon, and all it says is trust. As the official Showtime SMP writer of the gods, right? Specifically the main 4 ones. If anyone else claims to have a different god, that's not canon. That's not canon, they're lying to you, chat. Like, they just did that without any approval. And if they do that, cringe. But, specifically with the main Showtime 4, right? What did I say? They're not people, right? But at the same time, they are so painfully human.
Yes.
And this has been shown explicitly, so I can say it live on it. But specifically with right? That guy hates this 8-year-old. That guy is beefing with this 8-year-old child, right?
Yeah, literally.
Which is the funniest thing in the world to me until you start thinking about the implications. And Emma, oh my god, please think about the implications, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Sorry. But specifically with, right, it is always insane to me. And I showed this to Beetle because I was like going insane over it the other day, with, like showing my comparing and contrasting as though it was like a literary essay. But specifically with this, right, it's like I wake up in the morning and it's back to war. Like I pack up my bags and it's back to war. Because the way that this motherfucker treats this 8-year-old child, I say, pointing at Nick, and I'll be the first to admit it, I'm a bit of a Nick hater. I'm not a huge fan of Nick as a person, right? But at the same time, like, there's another part of me that's like, that is an 8-year-old child, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you beefing with them? Why are you beefing with Nyx? What did Nyx do? What did Nyx do apart from like exist as the concept of non-existence, right? And that is
You needed an antithesis, and Nyx filled it. I don't know what to say to you.
No, that's literally it. Where it's like, I was talking about this beetle, right? Like my little, because I was drafting this little speech that Nyx had at the beginning of that cinematic, right? Where it's like, where Nyx was asked, "What are you?" And Nyx was like, "Gay." No, kidding.
Yo.
He said, "What are your pronouns?" Nyx goes, "No."
Canon.
No, canonically Nyx doesn't use pronouns. I just kind of.
I know, yeah.
But
Nyx looks directly to the viewer and says no.
No, but specifically with the question like, "What are you?" I was like rambling about a beetle because I was trying to figure out what to say for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about how I've written Nyx, the way that Nyx is written is to fulfill, and this has been subtext, so I'm making it context. It's specifically made to fulfill a role, that is perceived, if that makes sense, in which it's like, you are a person living through life, you are right? However, you require, for your story arc, you require a villain. And nobody around you, in any possible universe, no matter how much you put, could ever be that villain, right? So what Nyx is that concept of the villain that doesn't exist coming to life, right?
Fuck, that's so good.
So what I told Beatles, the line I used is that for God to exist, there has to be an implication of the opposite. Like, for true kindness to exist, there has to be cruelty, right? So for God to as such, for God to exist, there has to be the concept of the devil, which is why every single time there has to be a comparison. Yeah, for every single time Nyx appears, Nyx introduces when Nyx introduces they it's me, the devil from the Bible, because if the other guy is God, what else is there to see, right? Because the concept of that is Spear of Justice by Toby Fox, specifically with this, right? It's like there is no other thing possibly being, because we are going with the Christianity and we are going with the poly, instead of the polytheism, more grander concept of good, stuff like that. I find fun to write, and I find very interesting. And Beetle mentioned this specifically, but for example, the Nyx relationship with Brian, in which it's like, they keep on, the Brian has been reset how many times now, right?
A fuck ton.
Right? And they keep, because you would hate the guy that your boss hates if you idolize your boss, right? So if it just keeps happening, where it's like they become friends, Pariah hates Nyx, and then after a while they become friends. Pariah gets reset. Pariah hates Nyx. After a while they become friends. Pariah gets reset. And it just keeps on happening. And you have to keep in mind, sure, Nyx may be a concept thousands of years old, but at the end of the day, Nyx is still a child. Nyx does not have the capacity to grow further. Reason to A, and then B, there's possible ways that it could. So it's also that, right? And the most we have seen Nyx mature is go from being an actual child to being a teenager, a recently turned teenager who is just kind of frustrated with everything. Which, at this point, I'm letting Nyx have that. I'm letting Nyx have that characterization.
Yeah.
Nyx deserves it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, yeah.
That is. But I also want you to keep in mind, PvP is still a joke character at the end of the day. Like, this man is literally a Minecraft therapist. I just ran with him. So I hear people going every single day, like, oh, this Minecraft is a penis a therapist and nothing bad will happen. Like, wrong.
Wrong. Ghastly. Yeah, I just, fuck. Head and hands. That's all I have to say.
That's wrong.
Head and fucking hands.
This is my Q&A section, where I just answer questions. Like, anything you want. Anything you want me to expand.
I don't know. I'm just like thinking about it. Like, they're cooking. Let him cook. He's cooking in my head. I'm just like, oh, the themes. Whoa. Boiling in the soup.
Boiling in the soup.
I mean, I think you already kind of explained this a little bit. And I think I can already kind of. I don't have any questions to ask because this is gonna sound really fucking assumptuous. But like I'm listening to this and I'm nodding. I'm going, I understand. I'm you know, because I had a question. Was like, oh, do you have any, is there any kind of significance to why it's based very specifically off of kind of Christian ideology of concepts of like humanity and good and evil? I already know the fucking answer to that question.
You already know the fucking answer, but you turn around and you go, 100,000 places in the state of Ohio.
I already know the answer to that question.
You know,
the short answer is that it fucks, but the long answer is, much longer.
You wanna know how many playlists I have on that damn album? I think it's at 400,000. I think it's at 400,000 on the constant state of Ohio, released in the year of our Lord and Savior 2017.
Real. I mean, this is real and correct. I do believe this to be so.
If you want to like feel miserable, you should listen to the entirety of the constant state of Ohio on your own.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's so like when talking about like my favorite characters that you've created, because I have a tier list, by the way. I do have a tier list because your characters do live in my head rent free. It's such a steep tie between CV and Nyx, but Nyx I think beats it up by just a hair. Cause I think about CV and I go and then I think about Nyx and then I like turn into the fucking like Uncanny Valley Mr. Incredible meme. Like I just like fucking stare off into the distance and I like see shrimp colors. And I'm like, oh man. This edible ain't shit.
Oh, it's having a little kick now. That's how I feel. That's how I feel 24/7. No one gets it but you.
Oh, it's just like, it's so... Again, I can't describe it. Because I think I texted you this before when we talked about it. I can't describe it in words. It's just a raw feeling I have when I think about it. That's so visceral that I haven't experienced. Like, I don't experience unless you talk about it. And it's like you talk about Nyx and you talk about this whole dynamic, and I experience this feeling that I haven't felt in many moons, and then I don't know what to do with it, because it's just raw. It's just so, like, visceral, and I can't describe it, and it's, like, good, but it makes me want to cry, and it's just, like, I don't know, man. I can't put it into words.
Thank you for the visceral existential dread, and thank you so much for the follow, Thunder_star26. Sorry.
I mean, literally though, and so it's just like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I coped right with Nyx specifically. Like, it came to me like a bit. People don't believe me when I say this, but I mean it honest to God. Whenever I make a character, it's like a vision from God. Like, I'm not writing a character. The character has appeared in my brain. I need it out, right? Which is why I can't just make OC. reply too easily, right? Like when I'm specifically asked, like, hey, we need to do this for this, right? Like, hey, can you make a character for this? Um, I don't know what to do a lot of the time because I just get them like visions of God. Like I'll just be walking down the street someday and I'll get the most like jaw-dropping, horrifying character that I need to write right now, or else I will die.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
no, I have this. I kind of have the same thing. It's not like jaw dropping, like I need to drop everything and do this right now. It's just like little like ideas that just kind of like pop up, and I go, that's interesting. And then I don't know where to put it because I don't elaborate any further than that. And sometimes it's not with me. It's like sometimes it's not character ideas, but it's names, like names of people that have never existed pop into my head, and I go, it's an interesting name. I'll save that for later.
The name box.
I'm really, I do have a name box because I think the number one, sorry if I'm hijacking anything in the conversation. Like the number one thing that I am so fucking like ass particular about when it comes to characters is names. Like I will be very, very, very picky when it comes to like naming characters or like the vibe that I have for a character, like what their name is, because I'm very like I want this. It's like this balance between I want this to sound identifiable. I want this to stand out amongst a crowd, unless the whole vibe is unless the whole idea of the character is that I don't want them to stand out against a crowd. And in that case, that would be the thing that makes them stand out amongst the crowd is that it's supposed to be boring. It's an Ouroboros. We're going in a circle. Anyway, like I want them to stand out in a crowd, but I also want it to sound like familiar. Like I want you to read it and go, that's the name that a normal person would have. Like I would read that name and go, I could look that up on Facebook and there's probably a page that exists there, you know? Unless I just want to get stupid. In that case, I'll make up the most insane name ever created for the bit. But I get very particular about names because for me it's like the way a name like phonetically sounds to me, like it has to sound good when I say it out loud, you know? Like saying the syllables and I'm like, ooh, the syllables, like the syllables. I'm like, the words. Because I don't know, my brain just works like that. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. I sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the conversation. Anyway, shout out to Nyx.
What do you say? You point at the sky and you go, my goat, and Nyx just looks down.
Literally, like, shout out to characters who will give me raw existential dread because Nyx will just remind me of Opal by Jack Stauber, and then I'll just like fucking like I'll like change forms of matter.
You're like,
bro, I know the storage is full. Shut up. Sorry, that's my girlfriend's laptop. Like I'll just like change phases of matter, thinking about Nyx. Like, oh no, I'm becoming a gaseous form. What's this? No, girl, don't become plasma.
Dude, I'm plasmaing. Stop.
But yeah, I've said this before, but just like I love your writing, and I love the way that you like think about concepts like this. Because again, I just find them to be very unique. Like it's kind of a meme that's like never been done before, but like really, it's just like interesting, and I like it a lot. And this is coming from a person, who infamously does not do well with large plots like this because I get confused very easily.
It's because I give you the sparkling summary.
So I will be so honest in saying that I am a CV enjoyer first and foremost, and nothing else. This is how I get all of my information, and I choose to be happy. I will be happy with this.
Is it?
This
is how I choose to get all my information. You just point at me and I just like raise my thumb.
No, because if I go to you and I ask, what's going on? What's the scoop? You're right. I know you're right. I can rely on you to be correct about this situation.
Nobody
I'll be like,
interprets the characters as well as I do.
yeah. I guess I also kind of feel that nervousness when I'm talking about your characters because I'm like, I think in some way in the kind of a weird like, kind of a weird like anxious state. I'm like, no, I'm talking with the guy who made the character. This is what? And then I like bonk my head with like I bonk myself over the head with the fucking parasocial stick and be like, just fucking have a normal conversation. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. I hope you understand, like, first and foremost, you have been my friend since before I was a content creator.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was always a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't, specifically with my characters, I just, like, usually, I make my characters when I'm in a time of emotional, I wouldn't say imbalance, but, like, emotional, um, like, need to, like, create, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why, like, my characters crawl out of the woodwork, like, fully formed, like, crystals. But, like, specifically, for example, like, Juniper, right? I made Juniper, and I was like, I want a Demeter kid who just drinks Monster Energy and litters all the damn time, right? And then
Yeah.
I turn around, and I look at Juniper, and I'm like, what the fuck are you? What are you? What did I do? Where it's like, I have created a character that is so outside of my control and comprehension, and they are writing me, right?
Oh yeah, I get that a lot. I think I get that the most with Saoirse, just because I've had Saoirse for so long that like whenever I like write as Saoirse, I do not write. Saoirse takes over my body and pilots my hands on the fucking gay little keyboard, and then I wake up in a cold sweat and I go, why have I written 2,000 words in a Google document? Like I don't write Saoirse anymore. I've had her for so long. God, I miss the Nolan twins. They aren't real, but I miss them. I miss them so much. Oh god. Oh.
That's me as well. Oh god. Several characters do that. TV obviously. I've just lost all control of the brain, as well with Nick. But like specifically my characters from Anavis, in which it's like a story I've been working on for the past 10 years now. Oh my god, it's been 10 years. Ew. Ew. Ick. I just gave
the passage of time. Disgusting.
Yeah, but no, it's nearly a decade I've been working on the characters, right? And it's like at this point I've lost all control of them, right? And they just write stuff. But it's like I don't know. I haven't spoken to you about any of the Nativis characters, I don't think, because I don't think either of us could handle sitting down and unpacking that. I think, personally, that your favorite character would either be Darius, Khalees, or my goat, Shinigami. But, like I said, you must understand, and I'm gonna speak this on, I'm gonna make sure it's popular. You must understand, right? My characters for Natalie are like this odd amorphous blob of just pure raw emotion, and I throw it onto a page, and it has created a horrible visage that not even God would look at, right? But it's like how you said, because ultimately, right? Not just a story of like you start characters breathing multiple um, like with Khalees is breathing lover, with she is breathing her brother and stuff, right? And like for example Darius is like grieving a lost childhood, um and it's stuff like right where it's ultimately like all these characters are grieving and it is about that process of grief. And also,
Mhm.
um, whoopsie daisy, God is involved because of course God is involved. It's a story by Vivi Fire. Um,
Of course. Of course.
but like specifically with right, um, I have a lot of care in about these characters, but also sometimes I stare at the screen and I go, "What the fuck? What is this? What are like?" I turn to the character, I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" um,
What are you doing with that comically large rock?
no, because I specifically always call back to this one, right, where it's Elise and Sylvia, and it's like at the very very beginning, like I think like fourth scene, right? But it's my scene where like I establish these two characters' dynamic, right? And it's a scene between Khalees, um, and Khalees turns to Sylvia, and they go, "If it comes to having to kill that person, right? That's your responsibility." Um, and like, cause specifically, right? What happened in the beginning? Spoilers, is that Khalees' like former lover, right? Um, died, right?
Oops.
And then one day, and without warning, they appear at their front door, right?
Oops.
Like, "Hey, I'm fully alive, by the way," right? And they have no memory. Um, which like Asia trope, and it's like I understand. Trust me, I've handled it. But yeah, they appear at Khalees' doorstep, and they have no memory, and they live in a house with like three other people, um, who all have their own complicated past issues, right? Um, but Sylvia insisted that they let the person that looks like Khalees' partner stay the night, right? At the very end, they'll like figure out what to do in the that. And there's this big species in this universe called shapeshifters, which are people that will take on the form of other people and
Mhm.
kind of like a changeling, right? But it's looked down upon heavily, and um, like I said, there's no like real allegory here. It's just like generally creatures that like try to like they feed off negative energy, right? It is Noah. Um, so like these people feed off like these creatures feed off negative energy, and they can kill you because they just eat all.
Oops.
I say your mic keeps cutting out. By the way, oh shit, thank you. Um, but yeah, so police assumes that whatever this thing is, it's one of those, and Sylvia's like, nah, that's a human person. Seems like the noise gate. Maybe I don't know. I can check that actually. Filters. Oh my god, I love edit filters. Uh, there we go. I'm just gonna remove. Hopefully, it's fine. I'm sorry if you hear like dogs in the background or something. But anyway, where? So police is like, we gotta get rid of this thing. Like, not kill it, but like get rid of it. Like throw it out into the field, right? Um, and uh, they have a whole argument about that between the four of them. And like, police goes to the balcony to like, get some space from it. So they comes out and she's like, hey, um, like, do you want to talk, right? And Khalees is like, I don't know. And Sylvia's like, I'm like, Sylvia doesn't really know what to say, but she's like, I'm here for you. And Khalees is like, I don't need you to be here for me. I need you to understand me, right? And Sylvia's like, is that not the same thing? And Khalees is like, no, because you're here, but you're not like actually understanding what you're for, right?
Mhm.
And Sylvia's like, well, what do you want me to do? And Khalees says like that ultimatum of like, whatever that thing turns out to be, I don't want to touch it, right? I don't want to have to go through that again. I don't want to have to lose like someone care about again. And both of these two characters have never killed anyone before, right? And the other two teammates have. Um, and police turns to Sylvia, who is someone who is a sworn pacifist, right? And goes, "You're killing me." And
Yes.
yeah, take care for tonight. Bye, guys.